Dr. Babasaheb Ambedkar Open University.
Hello friends, welcome to Chaitanya Studio at Dr. Babasaheb Ambedkar Open University, Ahmedabad. Myself, Dr. Vinod L. Desai, working at Department of Computer Science and Technology, Sardar Patel University, Vidyanagar. In previous sessions, we talked regarding various effects of CSS that we can apply on our web page in terms of image opacity and other transitions related functionalities. Now in today's sessions, we will talk regarding various animation kind of functionality along with 2D and 3D transformations of various objects of our web page. So let's start with animation. What the animation is? So CSS animation is a technique to change the appearance and behavior of various elements in web pages. It is used to control the elements by changing their motion or displays. The process of making shape changes and creating motions with element is known as animation. In HTML, CSS animations allow animation of the most HTML elements without using JavaScript or with the Flash. The purpose of CSS animation is to give platform and make it possible to animate the transition from one CSS style configurations to another configuration. CSS animation are consisting of two components. One is a style describing the CSS animation, and second one is a set of keyframes that indicates starting and ending state of the animation style as well as the possible in intermediate viewpoints. Animation properties are in terms of animation name, which is what used to specify the name of the keyframe describing the animation. Animation duration describes to specify the time duration it takes animation to complete one cycle. Animation timing function, it specifies how animation makes transition through keyframes. There are several presets available in CSS which are used as the value for the animation timing function like linear, is in, is out and is in out. Animation delay specifies the delay of start of an animation. Animation iteration count property specifies the number of times the animations will be repeated. Animation direction specifies the direction of the animation. Animation directions can be normal, reverse, alternate and alternate reverse. Animation fill mode. It defines how styles are applied before and after animation. The animations will mode can be none, forward, backward or both. Animation play state. This property specifies whether the animation is running or paused. Okay, so now to understand these properties and effect of animation through this property, we will go through the practical. Then we will have a better understanding of animation effects. Let's have a simple animation effect. So our document contains a division tag with a two subdivision child tags and having a ID. One is DVD and another with a VD and VLD. Okay. The first division tag contains welcome to BAU and second division contains the Department of Computer Science and Technology. Very simple. Now as you can see that in a style tag, okay, for the ID DVD we have provided an animation name as a text. Animation, you see here, very important, animation name text. So what does it mean? The text means what? The name of keyframe we have defined. See here at the last styling effect, keyframe we are defining. See the keyframe, that is nothing but the text. So this is what the name that we are providing for our animation. So you should be clear with these things. Okay, the text name of a keyframe to be provided for the animation name. So it should be like this. Then we are providing the duration for 5 seconds, padding top and the padding bottom, we can say size is provided, font family is fine, but this is very important, animation name and duration. For the a DVD text. Okay, this keyframe for color is what we have just kept it in a comment. Right now we are not going to do this, so we have commented it, but we are interested in this text keyframe. So it is starting from the margin top 400 pixels and reduced in shrink to the 0 pixels. That means a DVD, okay, the whole division, okay, it is applied on the whole division. So what will happen? So both the division block will starts from 400 pixels and it will reach to the 0 pixels. Let's try to run it to understand. Okay, the duration of these animations will be 5 seconds. Let's run it. See, from 400 to 0 pixel, both the block moves, both the division block moves. We will change the from and to in a keyframe set to understand it more better way. Let's change it from 400, it's keep it as it is, but to up to, instead of 0, just keep it to 150. Okay, and let's save it and refresh it and see what happens. Again it will stop at 150. Okay, and then after it backs to the original one. So this is one way. Okay, keyframe, another is color. Okay, we can apply it like this. Keyframe color, if you want to apply, okay, instead of that, let's move to the okay, we can have this keyframe color. For the same division to test it. So based on its progress, when the division which progresses from 0%, then it will have red color, but when it reaches to 50%, the effect will change from red to orange, and at last when it reaches to 100%, it will be in a brown color. Let's refresh the page. Okay. Moving next to, we can say, another animation program, that is play effect. Animation is what we have provided, like infinite playing. So the animation continues infinitely in a linear fashion for 5 seconds. Okay, for 1 second image. We have a keyframe name is GPG, that will provided as a name of the animation, and then after from 0%, its left would be 0 pixels, top would be 0. For 25% progress, left will be 100 pixel, 200 pixel, 50% again 200 pixel, and top would be 0 pixel. We are just resizing it, okay, at different stages of its progress. A division simply contains welcome to BAU content. Now let's run this to understand play state scenario. Just we need to change the property we have defined in a keyframe for the animation. As you can see, it is infinitely playing. Okay, so this is what the animation functionality we can provide on our web page for the content which requires animation kind of effect. We can understand another animation through the iteration kind of mechanism. Here again we have a for properties in terms of, we can say, division and headers. Okay, having a each ID, and we have defined a one keyframe, that is example. It starts from background color orange to background color white, and we have applied it to this, we can say, one and two IDs. One ID is for the header 1 header, that is what this text changes color to two lines two times, while H2 is another header, that is it text is color infinite times, because here we have provided the animation duration for 2 seconds 2 times, while here the animation timing count is 2, while in this animation duration is for 2 seconds and it goes infinite instead of count 2. Okay, that was applied to previous one. So for these two headers, one is for the 2 seconds and for 2 times only, while this is going to be for 2 seconds but for infinite period. Okay, this is what our animation will be applicable on this keyframe example, that is defined for the animation name. Let's run it to understand the effect of animation. See here, second is continuously in an infinite mode, it will continue to highlight this header, while the first one, let me to refresh the page, it will keep for the 2 seconds only. Okay, and 2 times, not more than that. So this is what the another animation effect that we can put through this way for the time period and for number of times you want it. Okay, fill mode, we can fill the, we can say, objects with various values. Okay, let's test it. But before that, let's check the content of our document having a divisions headers. Okay, and at their ID is defined like this. For 4 headers we have defined the IDs like 1, 2, 3, 4, and 2 divisions is having ID VD and VLD. Okay, now for these headers and divisions we have various CSS effects. For the class VD is there. Okay, dot VLD, another class, that is for the divisions, while header 2 is there having a, for before that let's look at the keyframe first. So keyframe, what we are defining, keyframe name is text, within that in a from we are defining margin left is 0% and background color is a hexadecimal value, while 2 margin left 60% and the background color is again a hexadecimal value. So what we are doing over is that for each ID of 4 headers, one we have animation mode, animation fill mode we have defined is none, first one for none, second one for fill mode we have defined forward, third one for we have defined backward for 2 second delays. See here we have used animation delay property for 2 seconds, and for the fourth header we have fill mode is both forward and backward, both, that means forward and backward, so it will move forward as well as backward for how many delays, 2 second delays, and it will work. So for the 4 headers we have mentioned below, we have defined various animation properties in terms of fill mode. Okay, animation fill mode having a values none, forward, backward and both for a specific time period. So we have here specified the delay of 2 seconds for both backward and both properties. Now let's try to run it and understand how this animation fill mode works. Sorry. Okay, we will understand through running the animation fill mode. See here, for 2 seconds it delays. Okay, again I am refreshing, you can see. So based on the property values the animation will take place. Moving to another program, direction, animation direction. Okay, so here you can see the direction, same program is there as we did earlier. The change in the animation properties, instead of fill mode we are using a direction, and one is normal, another one is reverse, third one is alternate, and fourth one is alternate reverse. Okay, for headers we have specified over here. Another frame set, key frame values remains common in a from and to field. Now just try to run this direction animation effect. See here. So this is another, we can say, animation kind of things for the content that we want to display on our web page. So this way we can have animation on our web page by applying various kind of properties of animation. Now we will discuss about transformations. So transformations comes in two categories, 2D transformation and 3D transformations. First we will discuss about transformation, 2D transformation. So a transformation in CSS is used to modify an element by its shape, size and position. Okay, it transforms the elements along the x-axis and y-axis. Following are the main methods of 2D transformations. So the most important method is translate. What it does, the CSS translate method is used to move an element from its current positions according to the given parameters, that is x-axis and y-axis. It just moves the current object from current positions to the specified axis values. Second method is rotate. The CSS rotate method is used to rotate an element clockwise or anti-clockwise according to the given values. Third method is scale. The scale method is used to increase or decrease the size of an element according to the given values. Next method is skew-x. The CSS skew-x method is used to skew an element along the x-axis according to the given values. The next is skew-y method. The CSS skew-y method is used to skew an element along the y-axis according to the given angle. So the skew method is used to skew an element along the x-axis and y-axis values given accordingly. Then matrix method. The matrix method combines all the 6 2D transformation methods all together. It allows you to rotate, scale, translate and skew elements. The syntax or the parameters required by this matrix method looks like that: scale x, scale y, skew x, skew y, translate, translate y. Okay, so these were the methods of 2D transformation. Now before we move to the 3D transformation, let's try to understand 2D transformation with an example. We will try to understand 2D transformation methods. Okay, so it will be very easy for us to understand how 2D transformation takes place with the help of CSS. So first let's go for the rotate method. So what does it does over here? Simply in our documents we have a division tag and it is having a content, that's it, nothing else. So on division selectors, we have provided a selectors division with various CSS property and one transformation, we can say transform. See here this one. Okay, this is the standard syntax that we will use, while these two are for the Internet Explorer and Safari. Okay, we are using the Chrome, so this will work with a Chrome. So transform is a property. In a 2D transform, we can say that what we want to do, we want to translate the division from 100 pixel to 80 pixels. Okay, we want to just translate it 100 pixel to 80 pixels. Let's try to run it to understand it. See here. Okay, it simply translates from 100 to 80 pixels. Moving next. Rotate the object, okay, up to 20 degree. Okay, we want to rotate this object. Which object? division having a ID division, my division 1. So this one, okay, my division having a Ahmedabad and Gujarat content. What we want to do, we want this division block to be rotate by 20 degree, to be rotated by 20 degree only. So we are writing like this, transform property and having a value, or we are calling a function rotate, okay, with a 20 degree. So let's go for rotating it to a 20 degree. See here, the object is rotated by 20 degree, second division. If you will specify another value, then it will rotate by that. Instead of 20, if you specify 40 and save it, then it will rotate this object by 40 degree, as you can see. Okay, just refresh and you can visualize. So this is another examples of you can say rotating objects by specified degree. Another we can say, okay, the same is we can say 30 degree, nothing else, but in a negative manner. Okay, here you can specify negatively degree, not in a positive way. So what happens, let us see. If you are specifying a negative value in a degree parameter, so negatively it will rotate, okay, from the specified value. The next method is scaling. We have seen translate and rotate method. Now we are moving for the scaling method. So the scaling, that means it will increase or decrease the objects by specified values. So here we have specified the values 2.5 and 2, okay, to scale our division. Let's run it to understand it. See here, we have specified 2.5 times. The division element is scaled 2.5 times of its original width and 2 times of its original height. If we will change the value, it will expand based on the specified values. If instead of 2.2 we will use 6, let us see, okay, it expands 6 times to its original value, okay, the height is going to change from 2 to 6. So this is a scaling method. Then skew xy, okay, we are transforming, okay, using a skew method, 30 degree and 20 degree each, xy coordinates. Let's try to run it to understand it. XY axis, see here, okay. So this is a 2D transformation using the skew method. Now matrix method we will use for the 2D transformation. As we already discussed the matrix syntax, it takes all the other functions discussed previous as an argument to form a matrix kind of mechanism for the transformation of a specified object. So once we execute this matrix function to transform our objects, how it will look, let us see. Okay, if we'll change the values, then it will reflect it accordingly. Instead of 1, if you specify 2, okay, here instead of 1, if you specify 2, what kind of changes it reflects, let us see. Okay, there is no change in its, okay. If we have another change here, okay, and let us test, no change again, okay, another change over there, okay, we are making changes in a commented content, okay, that's why it is not reflecting. Actually this is the actual matrix. Let's change it from 1 to 2, to 2 and see what changes it takes place. Okay, see here the matrix found with her updated values. So let's uncheck it. Okay, if we want to confirm another, we can commented this one. So apply on second one and comment the first one. We can have a look for the updated matrix values. Just save it and refresh this. Okay, so based on the provided values in a matrix function, the matrix will be found. Okay, and these values are nothing but we can say, as we see discussed, that it contains the scale x functions, skew x functions, skew y functions, scale y function, translate x and translate y functions. So these are the all methods that helps us to transform the object in a using a 2D transformation way. Moving next is a 3D transformation. CSS 3D transform property allows to rotate, translate and scale elements in 3-dimensional manner. The CSS 3D transform facilitates you to move an element to x-axis, y-axis and z-axis. With the CSS transform property, you can use the following 3 transformation methods: rotate x, rotate y and rotate z. Let's try to understand the 3D mechanism using the example. Okay, so 2D transformation helps us using the methods like rotate x, rotate y and rotate z to transform the state of one object from one state to another on a web page. Okay, rotate x, rotate y and rotate z. So let's go for first one, that is rotate x. So in our web page we have simply a division block, another division block having ID x division. So we are simply applying this CSS effect on division with the various properties regularly we are using, while our 3D transformation is applied on this ID x div. Okay, division 1, that is transform is rotate x with a 150 degree. So let's go for that. Rotate x, how it works, let us see by executing it. So we are just rotating, see you can see the rotation, we are rotating the x-axis only, fine. The content is displayed in a reverse manner in a rotation for the x-axis. Now same way we have a rotation, rotate y method, y-axis we can see. So rotate y, so simply we are calling rotate y method with a 150 degree, same kind of content, just we need to run the rotate y method. You can see, okay, the rotate y axis method calls the rotation 150 degree and displays the content of this object accordingly. Now move to the rotate z method of 3D transformation. So we have called rotate z 90 degree, okay, in a transform property. Let's run it to understand. Okay, so it transforms the object 90 degree, okay, using the z rotate method or rotate z method. So this way 3D transformation helps us to transform the state of one object into another object using its methods like rotate x, rotate y and rotate z. It's having a properties like transform origin, transform style. Transform origin allows changing the position on transformed element. Transform style specifies how nested elements are rendered in 3D space. Perspective specifies the perspective on viewing of 3D elements. Origin specifies the bottom position of 3D elements. space visibility specifies whether or not an element should be visible when not facing the screen. So friends, in these sessions we have talked the important properties of CSS in terms of animation and the transformation with the help of 2D transformation and 3D transformation. We have seen various animation properties and we set it and understood through various examples that how we can apply animations on our web pages. At the same time, we have discussed 2D transformation methods and 3D transformations methods to translate and transform the objects from one state to another state using the transformation functionality. Thank you very much.
स्वाध्यायः परमं